Hello, everyone. This is a special Mishnah Berurah video. It's not a continuation in the Mishnah Berurah series. One of my steady listeners and a dear friend who's been part of the share since I began the share years ago, a fellow from Willowbrook here at Staten Island, Shlomo Zalman Weiss, so Alzayn Gesund und Stark, called me up with a shiloh. We've been learning Hilchos Netillas Yadayim and Hilchos B'tzias HaPas, and he asked me a question that is very, very negeya, and we learned the halachas involved. He wanted to know practically what to do. His question was, here in Siman Kuf Samach Vav, we have a siman, only one sif, and the title of the siman is Din Hafsaka Bein B'tzia L'Netila, the halachas that govern any hefsek between the Netillas Yadayim and the HaMotzi by the B'tzias HaPas. Now, what Shlomo Zalman wanted to know was, practically speaking, if you have a large family, you have a large family suda, maybe you're making a simcha and you have the extended family over, you could have 20 people sitting around the table. It takes time for everybody to get up and go to the kitchen and wash, and people are schmoozing until they finally go and wash and come in. Is it an issue that we have a hefsek between the Netillas Yadayim and the HaMotzi? Would it be better to give everybody their own challah and let everybody make their own HaMotzi? Now, let's remember that in itself is a little bit tricky, because it's not just a question of giving everybody their own challah. Everybody needs lechem mishnah. But okay, so what happens by Shabbos Sheva Brachos? Very often they give everybody a bilkala by their plate. People sit down, they borrow the bilkala for the fellow next to them, and they make their own lechem mishnah. So Reb Shlomo Zalman wanted to know, would it be better to do that? Now, my answer to Reb Shlomo Zalman is that what we have to do over here is a balancing act. We have, on the one hand, we learned that there is very much an inyan that one person should make the bracha and be mitzi everybody else. We had that. Let's just find quickly over here. We had in Siman, no? In Siman Kuf Samach Zayin. In Siman Kuf Samach Zayin, in Sif Yod Aleph, it begins on Samach Daled Amud Aleph, last line, last two words on the line. The Mechaber said, Im hayushnayim oirabim echad mevarich lekulam. We have an inyan that if we have two or more people, our preference in halacha is that one person should make the bracha and be mitzi the other people. And we learned the Biur Halacha over there, who says that the reason for this is mikam maka mihidr mitzvahu she'echad yivarech v'yotzi kulam. We have an inyan of Baroiv Am Hadras Melech. We have a Roiv Am. If we have an assemblage together and everybody's paying attention to the Beitzaya, and the Beitzaya announces in a Kol Ram, Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam haMotzi lechem min haaretz, and acknowledges the Rebbeinu Shalom's mastery over our food, that's a shevach to the Rebbeinu Shalom Baroiv Am Hadras Melech. That's why we want there to be a Beitzaya who is being mitzi everybody else. So that's why we don't want to give everybody their own chalas and have everybody make their own bracha. At the same time, we have to balance against that Reb Shlomo Zalman's concern of the hefsek of Siman Kuf Samach Vav, Din Hafsaka Bein B'tzia L'Netila. So, when you look at Siman Kuf Samach Vav, what you see is that the Mechaber brought down two shitas. The Mechaber brought down a Yesh Oimrim, that's a shitas harif, that said that you do not have to be concerned. Ein tzarich lizayer milahafsik bein netila lahamotzi. That there's no reason to be concerned with a hefsek. Now, what does that mean? That there's no reason to be concerned with a hefsek? It doesn't mean that you should go have a conversation between al Netillas Yadayim and HaMotzi. That you're certainly not allowed to do, because we have a Gemara that says tekef linetila suda. But what the Rif means is, yes, you're not allowed to be mafsik. But what does it mean that you're not allowed to be mafsik? It means that you're not allowed to do something where you're mamish going to be mesiach das. But to sit around the table quietly and wait until everybody gathers around the table, that's fine. The Rif suggests that even if you might say a word or two, that's also not a problem. The only problem is a real bona fide hefsek with hefsek hadas, like the Sha'ar Tzion says, to stand in the kitchen and put together a salad dressing to prepare a preparation for the Suda between Netillas Yadayim and HaMotzi, that's a real hefsek hadas, that's a real problem. But to sit quietly around the table and maybe look at a chumash or something, oh, I don't want to go there. But to sit around the table quietly and to wait until everybody gathers around the table so that the Beitzea could be Motzi everybody, that, according to the Rif, is a non-issue. But then the Mechaber brought down a second Yesh Omrim. The second Yesh Omrim is the Torah that brings down the Yerushalmi, who says that no, tzarich li zoher, we should be nizhar not to have even a hefsek of shehiyah harbe. It's like the Mishnah Berurah says over there, nice cut and bays. V'yesh omrim shetzarich li zoher, afilu b'shehiyah lechud, even just waiting around quietly. It's better not to have such a hefsek. And then the Mechaber says, v'toiv li zoher. The Mechaber says it is preferable that we should be nizar like the second Yesh Omrim, like the Yerushalmi. And we should not have, we really should minimize the hefsek between the Netillas Yadayim and the HaMotzi, even if it's only shehiyah. Okay, so again, we have, what's our question over here? Our question over here is, we have 20 people that are gathered together for the Shabbos Suda. If we're going to wait for 20 people to wash and gather around the table so that the Beitzea could be Motzi everybody in the HaMotzi, obviously it's going to take some time until everybody goes and wash and gets back to the table. So there is going to be a shehiyah. Is that problematic or not? Well, we have two Yesh Omrims over here in Siman Kuf Samech Vav. We have the Rif, who says Ein Tzarich Li Zoher. We have the Yerushalmi that says Tzarich Li Zoher, and we have the Mechaber who says and Toiv Li Zoher. It is better to minimize that hefsek as much as possible. So that's what we see in the Mechaber. But now, if we take a look at the Mishnah Berurah in Siman Kuf Samech Hey, in Ois Katan Hey, the Mishnah Berurah really addresses our shaila head on. In Ois Katan Hey over there, the Mishnah Berurah says, Hinei HaMechaber b'Siman Kuf Samech Vav Hiskim, the Mechaber agrees in Siman Kuf Samech Vav, the Toiv Li Zoher Milahafsik, it is proper to be nizar, not to make a hefsek, miledaber, certainly one should not speak between the Netillas Yadayim and HaMotzi. V'chein noagu kol ha'olam lahachmir bazeh, and the ganze Welt is machmir. We all know we wash and we don't speak after we wash until we go ahead and make the HaMotzi. Sometimes that's the only time Daddy could get some quiet is when everybody washed and now nobody could talk. Even though then when you say, finally everybody's quiet, you all start going, no. Okay. Va'afilu b'shehiyah harbe machmirin. We're even machmir with shehiyah harbe. We're even machmir on a long wait. Shehiyah means to wait. We're even machmir with the shehiyah harbe ukedivrei haramosham, like the Ramah says in Siman Kuf Samech Vav that kedei hiluch chaf beis amma. We shouldn't wait around quietly for the length of time it takes to walk 22 amas. 22 amas, approximately 38 feet, something like that. Ve'im kain, if so, says the Chavetz Chaim, b'seudais gedolos, by very large seudais, sheyesh harbe misubin, where there are a lot of people gathered around, im yamtinu kol misubin, if all the people that are sitting around are going to wait, ad sheyital agadol, until the Beitzea washes, because he washed last, yishu harbe ma'od, they're going to have to wait a very long time. V'gam yavayu lidei dibur beintayim, and because there's such an extensive wait, they might even come to talk. V'alkein min hanochain, therefore it would be proper, she'agadol yital tchila ki b'zman hashas, that the gadol should wash first. V'lo yotziyim b'Birchas HaMotzi, and he should not be motzi other people with the bracha, El yavarich la'atzmai, he should make his own bracha on his own challah. V'chein kol echad ve'echad min ha'mesubin, and so too each of the individual people around the table, Yitlu Yadayim, they should wash. V'yavarich kol echad ve'echad la'atzmai, each one should wash for himself. V'lo yitztarchu l'shais klal, so that nobody has to wait. So the Mishnah Berurah does say, Reb Shlomo Zalman, that if you're going to have a Suda Gedola, where you have Harbe Mesubin, then taka each person should wash for himself. Now, again, the question is, what are we going to call a Suda Gedola? Are we going to call a family Suda in a private house, in a dining room, with 18 people sitting around the table a Suda Gedola? I think not. I don't think that rates as a Suda Gedola. You want to know what I would call a Suda Gedola? I would call a Suda Gedola if you're making Shabbos Sheva brachas and you have 50 people. You have 50 people, you have 60 people. They're all sitting by different tables. Everybody's kind of congregating in different groups. That would be a problem. You know how long it's going to take for everybody to sit down and you're going to have one Baitzea being mitzi everybody? But if you have 18 people, even 20 people sitting around one very large dining room table, I don't see that as a Su'uda Gedola, where we would say that instead of having Roiv Hadras Melech and having one Baitzea being mitzi everybody, instead we should give everybody their own Lechem Mishnah. I don't believe so. One family, one dining room table, one unified group. I don't think that rates as a Su'uda Gedola that would fit into this Mishnah Berurah. Now, Bifrat, you should know that if you look at the Aruch HaShulchan doesn't even really want to pay lip service to this idea that you should go give everybody their own chalas. The Aruch HaShulchan says over here, he says, "Ubedavid sheyesh tzorich lo shayich hefsek." Anything that's considered tzarchei suda is not a hefsek. And he gives an example. I spoke about this when we learned this. I don't agree with this idea that if you go to a chasana hall and you wash and your table is 40 feet away, that you shouldn't make al Netillas Yadayim until you get close to your table. The Aruch HaShulchan says straight out, not that way. Why? Because the halicha, the walking from the sink to your table, is 1,000% tzarchei suda. You can't make the bracha on your challah until you get to your table. So that's not a hefsek. And then the Aruch HaShulchan says weiter, he says, V'tei dalacha, I'll prove it to you. Shekenu. Sharei b'siman ha'kodim nispar, it comes out, the hagadol noitav yadav tchila, the gadol would wash first, umamtin b'hamotzi, and he waits to make the hamotzi, al kol hamesubin, until everybody gets together, v'yisha harbe, and he waits for a long time. So how's that okay? So the Aruch HaShulchan says straight out, you have to wait some time until 20 people wash and get to the table? Okay, that's not a problem. It's tzarchei suda. That's part of the suda. So the Aruch HaShulchan, straight out, he's not concerned with this at all. Also, if you take a look at the Dirshu footnotes, in Dirshu footnote number 8, in Siman Kuf Samach Vav, he brings down a Chazon Ish. Now, I have to say that I didn't get a chance yet to look at this Chazon Ish inside. There's one word that they put here in the Dirshu footnote. I want to see if the Chazon Ish says it. I'm questioning whether the Chazon Ish says it or not. I have to look at the Chazon Ish. But in the footnote here it says, if you're concerned because you have to wash until all of the, you have to wait until all of the Mesubin wash and get back to the table, the Chazon Ish writes, like the Aruch HaShulchan. The Chazon Ish says that that's tzarchei suda. Ve'ena chashuv hefsek. It's not considered a hefsek. Now, the word that I'm questioning is the next word, which is b'di'evid. I wonder whether or not, I want to see if the Chazon Ish really says b'di'evid. And then the footnote here points us to the Mishnah Berurah in Kuf Samach Hey that I read to you. Sharak b'su'udes gedolos. It's only by su'udes gedolos. Sheyesh ben harbe mesubin. Ein mamtina legadol. That's when you shouldn't wait for a beitzea, because that's going to be a very extensive wait. So after we analyze the whole Inyan, my answer to Reb Shlomo Zalman is, I think that if you're talking about what's a fairly normal Suda, albeit a large one, You have your extended family over. If you have the marrieds over, you have Kenai Nahara. Maybe you have a little simcha of the family. I'm making a Shalom Zachar for an Anikel this Shabbos. So I have some of the marrieds here and everything else. The Friday night Suda will probably be on the large side. But it's one dining room table, one dining room, one family. Yes, I'm going to have to be Mazaris people. And I'm going to have to say, no, everybody, let's go wash. And that's proper. It's proper to be Mazaris people. Don't just stand around talking and schmoozing while other people are sitting by the table waiting for you to come back so that the Beitzeh could make a Hamotzi. So yes, you should be Mazaris people. But should you give out individual Lechem Mishnah to the Mesubin? No. Roiv Am Hadras Melech, I think, rules the day. Roiv Am Hadras Melech, one Beitzeh should make the bracha and should be Moitzi. Everyone, our learning should be a schos for Achedu Kol Beis Yisrael, on the Sunnah Batzara Bashivya, Ha'imdim Bein Bayam Ubein Bayabasha, Ha'makim Yerachem Eleim V'Yitziyah Mitzara L'Rvacha Me'afelu La'ira Mishubed L'Gula, Hashta Bagala Uzman Kariv and Amar Amen. Also, it should be a schos Refuah Shalema for Meir Ben Chayis Sarah and for Ariel Yosef Ben Miriam Rezel, who are in need of Rachamei Shamayim. Everybody be well, and Reb Shlomo Zalman, thank you very much for inspiring an extra video and some more Torah learning out there. All of you, be well.